I am half black. My biological father is African American. I'm gonna break it down for you because I know what you're thinking. This girl is insane. There's no way. She has green eyes, very light skin, and blonde hair. Like, there's no way. Growing up as a kid, I always got, "That's your stepdad, you must be adopted." This video is honestly for educational purposes, to just let you know, like, people can look like me and be mixed. So let me break it down and show you my parents. Alrighty, here is me and my dad. This is my dad, his name is Lance. Here's another photo. It's kind of blurry, but yes, he raised me my entire life from when I came out the womb. Here is another photo of us when I was younger. And this is my mom, so I definitely took after, like, her skin tone, her hair. I'm looking like a weird ass little baby in this pic, but this is my mom, again. Here is her when she was in her teenage years. So yeah, those are my parents. My dad actually had a paternity test after I was born. Not because he thought my mom was cheating, but just to make sure, because I did come out looking super fair, which is absolutely hilarious, honestly. One day somebody asked him, they were like, "How does your baby have blonde hair? That is not your kid." And my dad just made a joke. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I used to have blonde hair when I was a kid too." Like, serves you right for asking a dumb question.
Let's be so expeditiously for real with ourselves. Are any of us surprised that this girl has white skin? She said light skin, and that brings up a whole conversation about how white people and biracials and stuff are colonizing the term light skin, but I ain't even gonna go into that right now, right? Are we really surprised that this girl has white skin and green eyes, when she has a white mother and a father who looks to be about 50 or 60% white? Are we really surprised that she came out white with a white parent and a mostly white parent? Like, huh? And the weird thing is, the daddy don't even look like a mulatto. He doesn't look half white and half black. He looks like a mestiza. He looks like he's white and Native American or something. Like, I'm confused why the African Americans get brought up into this. Like, we be minding our business and y'all stay bringing us up. Where's the African Americans at in this post, in this picture? Like, what? You thought we was finna look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, that's an African American man. Oh Becky, I think you might be able to fry chicken with the best of them." Are you serious? Like, what, bro? I'm so perturbed by the one drop rule. When I tell you the one drop rule just makes me uncomfortable, it's like, Now y'all finna be in the comments like, "Flower Tower, how you gonna tell that man he not African American?" Cause I just looked at him. Like, what? It is crazy because y'all only pretend that y'all don't know how certain groups of people look when it's black people. So when a non-black person is pretending to be black, then suddenly it's, "Oh, well, you can't look and tell. Have you seen their whole family tree?" But if I sat here and said that I was Chinese or Irish or something, y'all would look at me and be like, clearly you're not those things. Now, maybe you're saying you're Chinese or Irish in a sense that you are from China or from Ireland, but genetically, you're not Chinese or Irish, right? Y'all could look at me and tell that. Y'all don't need to see my parents. Y'all don't need to know how we identify. Y'all don't need to see a family tree. None of that. You can look at me directly and tell that I do not have Chinese lineage, right? But for some reason, when it comes to non-black people saying that they're black, suddenly nobody can just look and tell no more. Suddenly we got to have family trees and folks get to just identify as they feel. And, well, I think he ate a piece of chicken once. So, like, y'all, does this not get old? And you know the craziest thing as well? It's the way that how y'all try to pretend that there's some scientific backing to the one drop rule. Y'all will literally sit there and be like, "Oh, well, the genotype and the phenotype and according to my calculations, well, the father's seed contains the race of the child." Like, y'all are like delusional and idiotic. Like, somebody needs to wake you out of your slumber because you're too far gone for me, honestly. Let's talk about something though. I get on YouTube and I pretty often, right? I talk about how biracials are claiming to be black and how that is an erasure of actual black people. Like, whenever you watch a show on TV, if there is a black character, 9 times out of 10, it's actually going to be a biracial person, right? And realistically, in real life, you know, when you grow up in a place like Detroit, like I did, well, you know how Black Americans look because they're all around you, and you know good and well Black Americans look like me, right? But when I got on the internet and people were saying, oh, Flower Tower, you must not be Black American. You look too Black to be Black American. You must be African or Caribbean or something. I was like, huh? Because in real life, like I said, you know, in Detroit, all the Black Americans look like me, right? But these people on the internet, they're only exposed to Black Americans in the media, right? And the Black Americans that they see are biracials. So they're being conditioned to think that Black Americans are actually biracial Americans, right? And, you know, this is not just happening in America. I've seen so many non-Black people calling themselves Afro-Latinos, and they don't be Black people at all, right? So worldwide, there's this whitening of blackness occurring, right? Biracials are representing Black people, okay? And then you realize that white people are attempting to represent biracial people. We have a video of a white girl here talking about she's biracial. She got a white parent and a majority white parent, but she's the new biracial. Biracials are the new Black. Where does that leave Black people at? I used to be so confused on here when people would be accusing me of secretly being an immigrant and, oh yeah, Flower Tower secretly her parents from so-and-so and so, and she's actually African or Haitian or whatever, right? And whenever you ask them, like, what are you talking about, right? They'll always be like, you too Black to be Black American. Black Americans are really biracial Americans. Like, quite literally, it's crazy because the same people, I swear, y'all, I made a video about this one time. It was the exact same person, right? The same people who accuse me of secretly being African because I'm too Black, they will literally see somebody who is maybe 60% white and be like, oh yes, that's a Black American. This is the phenotypic diversity of Black Americans, right? So these people will sit here and claim that Black Americans are phenotypically diverse when it comes to embracing somebody who's clearly not Black as a Black American, right? So if your skin is tan or white and you got, you know, loose curls, then niggas will be in the comments talking about, oh yeah, that's the phenotypic diversity of Black Americans, right? But if you're an actual Black American, then they'll be in your comments talking about, oh, you actually African because Black Americans ain't this Black. So Black Americans only have phenotypic diversity when it comes to pretending that white people are Black, right? But when it's actual Black people, then suddenly the phenotypic diversity doesn't extend in that direction. Suddenly we have to secretly be Africans. Does nobody else think that this is insane? We have a literal white girl claiming that she is biracial. And I made a video about another white girl doing this same exact thing. Oh my God. If I can remember the title of it, I'll put it up here, but I can't really think of it right now. But it was another white girl, quite literally, who was claiming to be biracial. And it's crazy because people were commenting under her channel. No, not her channel. Channel was YouTube. Her page, because it was TikTok, right? And they were like, oh, you're the whitest Black girl I've ever seen. That's because she's a white girl, goofball. That's like commenting under my YouTube and saying, I'm the blackest white girl you ever seen. That's because I'm Black, goofball. Like, what are you saying? But, you know, part of the issue is the fact that these people play in our faces, absolutely. But the other part of the issue is the fact that y'all niggas allowed them to. Because it was hella Black people in her comments like, oh, yeah, like, yeah, you're such a white Black girl, so-and-so and so, yada, yada, yada. You're looking at a literal white woman pretending that she's Black. What hoops are you jumping through in your head? Like, let me know. Somebody help me out. Why are you doing this? Oh, I know why y'all are doing this. Because that's what you wish Blackness was. You hate everything that makes Black people Black. And you wish that Blackness was white skin and straight hair and so and so and so. Because that's the Eurocentric standard of beauty. That's what's been hammered into us as being attractive. So you all will go to great lengths to pretend that a white person is Black, but a Black person is secretly not a part of your ethnicity. They couldn't possibly be so and so and so, yada, yada, yada. That's why I'm never offended when y'all say stuff like this to me, because I understand that you're going through an internal battle. That shit don't actually have nothing to do with me. You're grappling with the fact that you hate Blackness and you wish that Blackness was white. And you're projecting that onto me and saying, oh, you too Black to be Black American. That don't actually have shit to do with me. You want to know what the other problem with this is? You all will sit here and pretend that white people and biracial people are Black and that their accomplishments are Black accomplishments. And then you can pretend that Black people are not oppressed anymore because, oh, we've had a Black president. But really, we haven't, though. We've had a biracial president. Black people are still going through the same struggles and facing the same barriers that keep us out of places like the president's office, right? But you can pretend that we're not, because you're pretending that a non-black person is black, right? And I remember I made a video, oh my God, and I gotta remember the title of that one. I'll put that one up here, right? It was about the first black woman to something like headline her own show or something. And it was a literal white woman. It was a literal white woman, right? And I made this video and there were people in the comments like, oh, she came from a prominent black family, so and so and so, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's fine, but guess what? That's fine, but guess what, right? If I had a kid with a white man today, right? We had a biracial child. That biracial child had a kid with a white person. They have a white child. That white kid have a child with a white person. They have a white child. Okay, that white kid can technically say they come from the Black Flower Tower, bloodline. That's true. I'm their great whatever grandmother, right? But they're not black anymore. Like, huh? So this white woman, she may very well have been descended from some prominent black family, whatever, but she's still a white woman, okay? So sitting here pretending that she's the first black woman to headline the show is going to negatively affect actual black women who have not done that yet, but now you all are pretending that they have, and that the oppressions and the barriers that actual black women face are no longer in place because a white woman headlined the show. Are y'all getting the issue here? Take a second to Google the first black whatever. First black achievements. Most of those achievements are going to be from biracials and white people that people are calling black. Now, why is that? Because some people are just going to say, oh, black people are stupid, so they don't work as hard, whatever. That's why. No, the reality is this. I'm not going to sit here and say that a biracial person does not face any oppression. Now, a white person doesn't, don't get me wrong. But a biracial person does face oppression. Absolutely, right? But no, they don't face the oppression that black people face. They don't. I'm not finna sit here and lie to make you feel better or whatever. And some of y'all are going to be in the comments like, well, people treat me like I'm black. Okay, that's cute. But guess what? When they see you standing next to me, an actual black person, they clearly see the difference and they will clearly treat us differently, okay? That's just the reality, right? So I'm not going to say that people don't treat you poorly just because, you're biracial, because they do, right? But the reality is, as somebody who's not black, you have it better than a black person, period. You don't have the obstacles that I have. You don't have the barriers that I have. Therefore, it's going to be easier for you to find yourself in certain places, right? So you end up in those places more often than actual black people, not because you smarter or you work harder or whatever, but because you're less oppressed than an actual black person, right? But then we pretend that you're black and we ignore the added oppressions that actual black people face. And that's very damaging to us. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. Biracials don't even look black, and that is an advantage in this white supremacist society. But once in a while, you come across a biracial who does, right? But even with those biracials, being half white, you know how to navigate white spaces and fit into them and all that stuff in a way that black people don't, because you're the child of white folks, right? So, of course, you're more closely related to white people and all of that good stuff. You have an advantage in this white supremacist system that black people simply don't have. So pretending that biracials are black and white people are biracials and so and so and so is a grave injustice to actual black people. And it's unfortunate that black people be the main ones perpetuating this. Like, it's very unfortunate that black people don't even see how damaging this is to us. Hopefully y'all wake up before it is too late. I forgot to say, her daddy looks exactly like Caesar and Spooky's daddy from On My Block. They look exactly alike. And I'm going to tell you right now, ain't nobody ever looked at me and mistake me for no mestiza Hispanic. Nobody ever been like, ooh, you look like Spooky's sister from whatever. No, it's never happened because I'm actually African American. So when are we going to stop pretending that these non-black people are black? Because, again, what is happening here?